everybody, this is Tina Life Without Pink. I'm coming to you from my boys' playroom because today I'm going to talk about a situation that happened to me that kind of changed the way that I think about the boys and allowing them to make their decisions. Okay, so last week we went to the shoe store to pick up sneakers for back to school. And as we walked into the shoe store, they had a big display right as you walk in with all the brand new sneakers. And as we walked in, I was looking down at my 3-year-old, and all of a sudden I heard my 6-year-old go, "Oh!" And I turned around and looked at him because I thought, you know, he fell or something happened. And he ran over to the display, picked up these pair of sneakers that he fell in love with, and started screaming, "I want these, I want these, I want these." The sneakers they're bright blue and bright orange, okay? Not my first choice. When I pick sneakers out for the kids, I always like to try to pick sneakers that'll actually like match everything that they wear. So he is so excited. He's running around the store, you know, so we head back to his department to find his shoe size. He puts on these shoes, and in instant, I'm telling you, he was in love. He did not want to take off these shoes. He's running around the store. And the thing about with my kids with shoes is that they pick one pair of shoes that they like, and that's it. That's the only pair of shoes that they will wear. Like, I've bought many shoes for them, and they always are like, oh, they hurt, they itch, they're too tight, they scratch me. So when they finally find a pair of shoes, I have to kind of go with it. So he's running around the store all excited. I'm kind of like, don't really like these pair of shoes, and they're like bright, like you need sunglasses on. So, in the meantime, my 3-year-old decides he wants a pair of shoes, and he wants to pick them out all by himself. Now, for a 3-year-old, there's not many selections, not many good choices. I'm not into the whole character shoes and the blinky shoes. Of course, when my boys were like 1, I did that. But now that they're 6 and 3, I kind of like them to have a little bit of big boy shoes. So there wasn't many options for my 3-year-old. We did find a few pairs that I thought were very cool. One of these new pairs of Reeboks were black and red, really cool and trendy. My son put them on, freaked out, didn't like any of the shoes. Everything hurt. He's crying because he can't find shoes that he likes. So I tried telling him, we'll go to another store, we'll look. And there was one more pair of shoes that he picks up, and he wants to try these on. And I'm like, whatever, I'll just let him try it on. He probably's not going to like them. Tries them on, loves them. I hate them. They're ugly. They're black and blue. I don't like black and blue together. I don't know, weird. He loves these shoes. He wants these shoes. So I'm going to show you the 2 pairs of shoes that my kids picked out. Okay. So my older son, these are the shoes he picked out. Okay. Now, like I said, at first I was like, you know, holy, they're very bright and they're crazy looking. And my husband said, you know, that's because of the Olympics and all the bright colors of the racers, the runners. So, but now I'm actually kind of liking these shoes. They're kind of cool, and I kind of dig them. Okay, these are my 3-year-old shoes, which I really don't like saying this, but I don't like these shoes. These are his sneakers. Okay, they're Nikes. I love Nikes. We always have Nikes, but I'm not a big fan of these, blue and black. He loves them. So I'm sitting there, kind of like, really don't want to spend money on shoes that I don't like. In the meantime, we're sitting there, another family, a husband and wife, and a son walk into the aisle, and the son is probably about 9 or 10 years old, and he immediately runs over to these shoes on the wall, and he says to his mom, "I love these shoes, my mom love them." And I look over, and his mom kind of rolls her eyes, she's kind of like that, and I laugh at her, and I said, "Yeah, my son loves those shoes too," and I point to him as he's running around the store, laughing and giggling and so excited about his shoes. And she kind of gives a little laugh at me, and she says to her son, "Come on, let's go. We'll find new shoes." And I look over at the dad, and dad's kind of just like, all right, whatever she says. And the son kind of had like this face on him. He looked like really disappointed, and he was staring at my son wearing these shoes. He just kept on staring at the shoes, like he was so sad that he could not buy these shoes. And at that moment, like a light bulb went off in my head, and thought, you know what? They're kids. Just because I don't like their shoes doesn't mean that they can't have these shoes. If they love them, they're individuals. They need to be, use their creativity and pick shoes and individual, and show, who they are and their personal style. I want my boys to make choices on their own. I don't want to have to dictate everything to them and saying what they can wear and can't wear. I mean, my son is 6 years old. If he loves these shoes, then he loves these shoes, and I'm going to let him wear them. If my 3-year-old loves these shoes, guess what? he's going to wear them too. I bought them for him. He loves them. Every time he puts them on, he says how much he loves his shoes and he can't wait to wear them the next day. And you know what? That's what it's all about. I gave my boys a choice. You know, even though I wasn't a big fan of the shoes, you know, my husband said to me, you know, you need to let them make their own choices. And when I saw that little boy, the 9-year-old, that had this disappointed face, and his mom told him no, he couldn't have these shoes because she didn't like the colors of them. And I saw him staring at my son because he wanted those shoes. Like, it made me feel sad, and it really kind of put everything in perspective for me. So I'm all about letting my boys, you know, be individuals and make choices for themselves. And you know what? Maybe I won't agree with everything, but I have to remember that, you know, they're learning and they're trying to find their way. And even though they're 6 and 3, this is the time that they have to start doing it. So I'd love to know from you. You can leave comments. Like, how, you know, do you let your children pick their own clothes and shoes, even if you don't approve of them? I mean, now let's go, you know, if you have a girl and she's wearing like skimpy stuff, that's one thing. But, you know, my kids love the character shirts that I'm not a huge fan of, but they love it and they feel like superheroes in these shirts. So I just would love to know, like, how do you let your child be an individual? Do you let them make their own choices? Share with me, and I'd love to discuss it.